Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy. Episode 66, Import Custom Controls from OpenNTF. Why invent the wheel when you can just import it? Okay, this show is about OpenNTF, which can be found at openntf.org. And specifically, I want to talk about this import tool that two great developers came up with. I'm not sure if I'm going to try and pronounce their names, but I guess I will. Nah, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to screw it up that bad. But their names are here, and I believe they work for IBM. But that they've created this great import control that Nicholas Heidloff has been blogging about in the OpenNTF blog, which is, I believe, blog.openntf.org, and probably a real podcast where to put that link in. And what's going on here is now, as we get more and more custom controls for on OpenNTF, we now have the ability to basically point our designer at OpenNTF and just import them into our project. So import all the files, the resources, everything you need to get going. And I think that's done by adding some kind of XML to the custom control file. I'm working on my own custom control, which will support this. So I guess I'm going to have to figure this out myself, and which might be another show. So again, it's very easy to consume these custom controls, where before what you'd have to do is download the database, find all the things you needed for it, and copy and paste it from the download database into your app. So this takes all that pain away, and that's what the demo is going to be about. Now, before we get to the demo, I did want to mention that they came out with a brand new Twitter account, controlled via OpenNTF, I guess, called @XSnippets. And I love XSnippets. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, so get used to it. XSnippets are all these like little bite-sized code blocks that people are putting out there, and it's just great. You know, it's just great to see, and I've used some of them already, and I plan to use a lot more. And even if you don't use them, it's a good learning tool because it's so bite-sized. So you might, if you're on Twitter, you might want to follow @XSnippets. I'm sure they're going to be tweeting about when new ones come up or when anything happens there. And also, while we're speaking of snippets, there is a snippet contest going on. You have to go to OpenNTF for all the details because I still haven't read it all yet. But it's basically, you can win if you, I think you submit like 4 snippets in a quarter, you're eligible to win some prizes. I think they have some random prizes, so I think they draw two guys, or two developers, I should say, randomly. And I believe there's also a little judging on the best value for another two or so. But again, you gotta go there for all the details because I don't read all that stuff. So anyway, with all that being said, here's the demo. Okay, the goal of the show today is to really kind of like highlight this post that Nicholas Heidloff has been working on the OpenNTF blog, and this has to do with the import XPages controls into Designer. There's now a technique that lets you go into Designer and basically just pull in certain custom controls to expand reusability. And I highly recommend you go to the blog and find this post from April 16th and watch this video, which is not showing up here because I don't have Flash on this virtual machine, because Nicholas takes you through the whole steps, and quite honestly, I'm just really going to copy a lot of what he did. So what you need to do is, he's got another blog post, and I'm not sure exactly how to find this without going to this blog post, but you need this extension.xml. And what you would do is you would drag this to your My Widgets panel right here, which has already been done here. If you don't have a My Widgets panel in your sidebar, you come to File, Preferences, Widgets, and then click on this little guy right here. Now, I don't think he said in the video you had to reboot. It didn't work for me until I rebooted. So then what you need is you need an application imported into. And I've got a little app here, a little page that I'm working on for a future cheat sheet thing that's basically like a URL cheat sheet. So it shows you the code, and yes, it's ugly, that's why it's not finished. But it shows you the code, and it shows you what the result is for kind of working with URLs and stuff like that. So if I want to add a custom control from OpenNTF to this database automatically, I can go into the database, and I'm going to actually just close this stuff here. And I can now come down here, and I've got this new thing, OpenNTF. Import reusable custom control. That's kind of cool. and then Apache. Now his screenshots show more controls than are listed here. I kind of think he cheated somehow and wasn't filtering out the acceptable ones. And what needs to be done to make it acceptable is the owner of the project needs to, I guess, produce an XML file of what resources are needed and are not needed. So hopefully this list will grow relatively soon. But let's say we wanted to add this Xpages debug toolbar, which is a great custom control as you're developing your apps. So we can click on this, and we can overwrite any files. We can remove temporary. We're just going to leave it as the default, and we're going to import it into this test1.nsf. And then it imports in the background, and shouldn't take too long. Okay, so now we can have successfully imported this control. We can open this temporary directory to where it's saved, because it doesn't automatically clean up after itself. And we can see now, I've imported this already once before, which might be why there's like some little duplicates here or so, but they're like logs in here, and you can click on the logs and see whatever it is there is to see. Again, I'm not too worried about that at this stage of the game. And then now it should be here. So if we look at our custom controls, the debug toolbar is here. Certain resources are here, etc. So if I want to now add debug toolbar to my application, I can just kind of like drag it on. And again, as you're developing, this is a great control that you want to have available to you. So if we refresh it. Okay, so now I've got this thing up here where I can see, and I don't have anything set in here, but I can see my session scope variables, my view scope variables if there would be any. I can clear session scope. I can hide things. I can turn it off and on. There's some kind of API thing, which I don't know what that does, etc. So I use it mostly for session scopes and all that. And then if I don't want, I can just remove it. So anyway, that is how you go to OpenNTF and pull down reusable custom controls. And if you don't see your favorite custom control there, send an email to the author asking that they modify it to be compatible with the import control. And that's your demo. I hope you like that and can now start reusing some of these custom controls a little easier. And if you don't see your favorite custom control there, just send the project manager an email and say, hey, could you do this? Or better yet, maybe offer to help, because I believe it's just an XML file, so it's not that difficult. And they might really appreciate help in converting your projects over. It might be a way to get involved with OpenNTF yourself and meet some new people and new developers. So here's my contact information, and I thank you for your time.